Hello and welcome to this 30,000 subscriber Q&A video. Something I should have gotten to a while ago, but as you know, busy times, I haven't uploaded as much as I would have liked to recently. Hopefully should fix that, but nevertheless, the Q&A is here. Thank you to everyone who wrote down questions. There was a lot of overwhelming support, and I'm gonna do this as smoothly as I can, but I don't want it to be too long, so I might actually cut out a few stutters where I'm thinking and things like that. I appreciate all the support I've gotten in the past year or so. It's been about a year since I actually showed my face on my channel. Oddly enough, once I decided to stop showing it, I got subscribers. Wait a sec. So I think I might do more of this kind of stuff. I have a few things I want to talk about with the state of the jungle, the way things are headed, balance changes. I hate the meta at the moment. It's not good for someone who likes to play Ornn jungle and Zara jungle. Doesn't work very well when you have to run into a graves. Your grave. So we're gonna just jump right into it with the first question. I started watching you 2 months ago. After I practiced the stuff from your videos, I went straight from Bronze 5 to Silver 2, and I'm still climbing. Thank you for helping me understand jungling so much better, and I hope your channel grows even further. Keep up the amazing work. I'm not doing this as a show-off or anything like that. It's merely a... These are the comments I like to see when people are telling me how they're improving. I know I am not myself the best player. Physically, I have limitations, but... hearing stories about how you guys go up through this advice, through learning a few things from the way I choose to play the game, really makes all the effort that I put into the videos worth it. And so if you have had some great growth or anything like that, let me know. If you've gone down, let me know. I don't know what I can do for you, but I hope they're not. I hope my videos are not the cause of that. Okay, a lot of questions that came up in the comments or also in the Q&A was why I chose jungle, and the reason why was I actually came from, I was a long-time Halo player, played that quite seriously, not competitively or anything like that, but that was my main competitive game. And then I went to Star Wars: The Old Republic for something a little bit different, and I was a main tank in that. And so when I switched over to League, I was like, I kind of would just, I like playing the tank role, and I didn't really have a good understanding of MOBAs at all, but I decided to want to be a tank. And I looked up a lot about strategies and champions and builds to see what would work with the way I like to play, and I ended up choosing Volibear. You know, it's a good, uneducated decision. Just, you know, pick the big bear tank. And I wanted to go top lane because I wanted to be a solo laner. I wanted to be a solo tank from the top lane, and I wanted to help my team and things like that. Be an actual tank. Obviously, it's way different than an MMO, but the principle still applies, right? Peel, taunting, things like that. And so yes, I was Volibear top, but however, when you're leveling up an account. Back then, it took way longer. We didn't have access to runes and things, so everyone wanted to be, you know, duo top. You had to be duo top, and I didn't like that at all. I wanted to be by myself. So I actually just transitioned naturally down to the jungle, because there were these free camps and no one was taking them, and I had researched how the meta worked back then, and because there isn't really a meta for an unranked, but yeah, so that was the reason. I just wanted to be a top lane tank. People kept wanting to duo lane with me. I didn't like it. I chased the Singed, and then I went to the jungle. And I've kind of stuck with it since. Also, because I'm not the most mechanically adept player, I didn't want to have to worry too much about, you know, CSing and trading and things like that. I wanted to focus on using my mind strategically to move around the map and make plays, which is why I myself have difficulty carrying sometimes, because I'm a great sort of like number 2 player from the jungle. I like to sort of control the field, and solo queue, you know, good luck with that. Okay, a little bit of a personal question next. Where are you from? How old are you? And the most popular Reddit question, demonetized or demonetized? So on to that one first. Definitely demonetized. Definitely that one. And where am I from? Well, I am from South Africa. My dad is German, my mother's English. I live in Belgium, and I am the young age of 30. Okay, next question. I'd like to know a bit about more yourself and how you got to this point in your career, YouTube career, and how you feel about where you are now. Okay, well, I appreciate the jungle brains. I don't agree, but I'll take it. Well, I've spoken about this a bit in my previous vlog a year ago, but essentially, the goal of this for me was I actually got sick of Dynamic Queue in Season 6, and I got to Diamond and I just quit. Which is what I usually kind of do. I get to Diamond 5, maybe I get to Diamond 4 and I just kind of play whatever. I don't become the Diamond meme, where I just give up. But I always try. I just don't actively strive to get higher, just because I don't have the time commitment. When I do play, it's usually at the end of the day, like now in the evening, and I'm tired, and you know, I just want to play Ornn jungle and have fun. I don't have that in me to say, right, I'm gonna spam Zin and Graves tonight. It's gonna be real fun. You know, I don't want to do that. And then I started to play other games again, which I hadn't done for a while, just because primarily of time in League. And the idea was to just make this a gaming channel, talking about whatever I want, quite loose and fun. As you think, if you look back at my early videos, it was just kind of random, loose and fun. I was just figuring it out. I hadn't edited in a long time, I think 10 years or something like that. So how I feel so far, to answer your question, is I'm happy with where the channel has gone. At this point, I'd love to be able to put out more videos, but the problem is each video takes a lot of editing. And if a video doesn't hit, like the Evelynn didn't really hit or the Echo one didn't really hit, that's okay. I'm okay with that. I make it because I want to share something I feel is valuable to the community. And I want to make it as high quality as I can. And if that involves an extra day or two to make it something I'm proud of, then I will do it. But it's not really as worth my time. And that's, I think, the thing I'm trying to balance at the moment. So I think at this point, I'm happy where we've gotten in a year. I would like to continue this growth, but try and exponentially do it. And so any ideas you guys have, talking points, whatever, I'm down for anything. So as you can see in the description, let me know your ideas. Lifestyle, doesn't have to be League related, it can be other games. I'm happy to try things. I do want to keep the tutorials, don't worry, don't unsub. I'm keeping the tutorials, but only as long as people watch them and enjoy them. I want to feel like I'm giving something of value. And as soon as people don't think I'm giving anything worth of value that's worth their time, I'll move on. But I would like to make this a more permanent gig. I have ideas for making a second channel, education channel, math, science, maybe a little bit of philosophy, maybe some history. So that was the long-term goal with YouTube. I'd like to have those two channels sort of grow together. But yeah, good question. Sorry, I ramble a lot, by the way, because you didn't notice. Alright, this is a question I've actually had quite a bit. Where do my names come from? My in-game names? Well, most of them were Sanskrit. Virkayu was Sanskrit. Mirachu was Sanskrit. Crota was Sanskrit. I've subsequently shifted a little bit away from that. But Virkayu was a derivative of Virka, meaning wolf, and then the U, and I cannot remember the specifics, so don't quote me on it, but the loose translation would be sun or to transform. And I like that sort of duality in the U to go with the wolf. You know, like werewolf, kind of looking at, instead of looking at the moon, you look at the sun. And the way the sun was a way of incorporating the astrophysics, my astrophysics background. I don't know. I was just looking for something a bit unique and that sounded that could roll off the tongue a little bit, and Virkayu happened to be it, because I was Quadrasaurus. Yes, I was Quadrasaurus on Xbox. I was that Warthog gunner there. And then in Star Wars: The Old Republic, I was Mirachu, and that name, I got that name on NA, and then someone else had it on EU West. So Mirachu means death in Sanskrit, Crota means wrath, Viscerus means decay, and I've had a few others in their name changes, but usually those are the three dominant ones. Sixa is actually Sith language for demon. Because I'm in Evelynn and I'm a huge fan of Star Wars, I like the fact that I actually got the name Quasik. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but that meant the Force in Sith as well. I'm a fan of the dark side, so Old Republic movie will be really great with me. And then, you know, now I've always had an interest in Norse mythology, and with God of War, probably have a few of those in rotation, so I usually like to have something that's kind of unique in a way, but also a little bit different. But no, they are not random gibberish. I think very hard about my name. It's actually too hard. What do you do when you've been invaded? Well, usually, because I play at the end of the day and when my mind is spent, I usually tilt. And then I decide, okay, you know, I should maybe try and win. What you should do is, if I've been invaded and I see them coming, I back off. It's okay to lose your blue buff. It's okay to lose your gromp. If you're being invaded and say you're being invaded on the top side and you're doing your red buff, okay, so your blue side, you're doing your red buff, you see them going across the river due to a ward from your top laner, which they never do, which you should ask them to do, that means you can easily go take their blue buff. So if you have a proactive heads up of the invade, just go take his counterpart, you know, you both get 2 camps, not much of a difference, it just changes your approach angle for different ganks and things like that, scuttle, crowd control, what have you. If you're being surprised, and it's a Nunu, well, you just cry because you lost your buff. If it's an Ivern, which is common, I think I had a clip of me as Warwick, I just chased him down and killed him. You counter Ivern a little bit because you confirm quickly and also kill him level 2. So I have videos on this as well in my library, but basically, if they come into your jungle and catch you low HP and you die, that's okay. Just make sure you don't go where they are. Video below. If you see them coming ahead of time and they're stealing your buff or something like that, you go take their buff. And if you meet them there where you're both high enough HP, but you know you have the heads up, you have the better matchup, then you can fight them out for it. Just be aware of, if you lose, you're going to be way further behind than you otherwise would. So play it by ear a little bit. If it's later in the game, second buff rotations, and your laners are just in no position to help you, give them up. There's absolutely no need to die for your second buff. There's absolutely no need to die for your wraiths. Wraiths was a while ago. My biggest tip for when you're being invaded at all phases of the game, be intelligent and don't tilt. Request your laners to ward. You ward yourself. When you see an invade and they get over aggressive with the invades, you can ping your team. And if you see your team coming to react, now you can collapse and you can get all that back, right? You can get the kill back, you get the buffs back, and from there you can kind of jungle them. The main thing is don't tilt, don't keep going where you know they are, and ward the entrances to your jungle. That's just general principle anyway you should do it. If all your laners are winning and you're ahead of the enemy jungle, you should be going in his jungle. So don't always be too reactive about it, try to be proactive about it, but those are my general tips. You persuaded me to play jungle, I used to play mid. My question, what do you do when you're tilted? Any Evelynn guide soon? I love playing her and your Eve guide is pretty outdated. Is it? Well, that's a little hurtful. A little sad from that. I try to make those champion guides last as long as possible because they take so long to make. Really, it takes so long. It's just not worth. I cannot make those things like every month. It's just not possible because I don't like it when people just have here's a general gameplay. Let me speak over it. I want to have individual clips describing what I'm saying. The best way to teach, the best way to explain something is with examples that people can relate to on the screen. Anyway, I digress. And I just uploaded an Eve guide, so hopefully you watched it and enjoyed it. It was a breakdown, but I included a few other things in there. When you're tilted, I'm not the person to ask. I am definitely not the person to ask. I tilt easily, but that's not because I'm weak-minded. I don't, in real life when I'm coaching, I've done a lot of coaching in my life. When I'm teaching in general life, I don't tilt at all with many things. I have a bit of road rage. You guys want me to vlog road rage? Good grief, I don't think I'd be monetized if I recorded my road rage. But what happens is, if there's any frustrations in a day, if there's any frustrations in life, if there's ever a lot of stress, you're not raging at the game, you're raging because of those things, right? Those things become a source of stress for you, right? And when you go into a game and maybe you've had a bad day, you just want to win, you just want to get a few wins before bed, anything that goes wrong, anything that your team says or enemy team says, will tilt you. If you get invaded, like in the previous game, if you get invaded and your team doesn't help and everyone just starts taunting you, whatever, you're going to tilt. So, my general advice for tilting, that I don't follow because I'm stubborn, but I should. When you are tilted, say you lose a really 55-minute game and you're super sad. My advice is take 10 minutes, take 15 minutes, have a snack, do push-ups if that's your thing. I would rather you just go to the gym dedicated, but if you want to, do push-ups. And sometimes for me is like a form of catharsis. I watch a replay. I actually try to see where did I go wrong, what could I have done better. And usually when I see my own mistakes, it removes a bit of the tilt because it's self-frustration now. It's not tilt at my enemies, you know, taunting me. It's like, I could have landed this skill shot. I could have done this better. And you know, going into the next game, I'm cognizant of that. And that's the goal of improving, right? If you can focus on a loss as a form of improvement, your tilt automatically will be reduced, at least in my perspective. Okay, my field isn't psychology. I'm not going to pretend to break it down. But my advice simply is, if you're like me, I play through tilt. And I have to, because I don't have time to wait 15 minutes after every game. My goal isn't so much ranking up, it's having fun in the game. And for me, the challenge of beating that losing streak is sort of like a self-deprecating event that I like to go through. It's very frustrating for my wife. But, you know, don't spam ranked if you're hard tilted. The best thing is to take a break. Go play God of War, throw the axe around. It's really satisfying. My problem is, I don't know if any of you guys play basketball or whatever, but when you're shooting outside, maybe it's late, maybe you have to leave, whatever. You can't stop until you make a shot, right? But now you go on a miss spree. Oh, you can't leave until you make a shot. I'm the same thing in League. I can't quit, I can't stop playing until I win a game. And I get frustrated if I have to leave before I can win that game. And that's all part of that consistent tilt. And in those cases, that means you're just going into a game tilted. I usually do my best to, maybe I'll work in a video. Maybe I'll play, I don't know, a game of Overwatch, something mindless where I suck and it doesn't matter. So keep those things in mind. That's at least from my perspective, but I'm not the best person. I tilt very hard. That's part of my problem. Also, more on the jungling part, can you explain how to carry as a non-CC jungler? Because melee carries are my favorite type of champions, Master Yi, Shyvana. Well, in that case, it's like playing Kha'Zix as well. Alright? Your goal there is understanding the enemy CC and their cooldowns. So, for example, if you run into an Ornn level 3, I can tell you that W's got 18-second cooldown, right? And you know that he will auto-attack you. But however, he's got 2 other forms of CC as well. But you cannot damage him in between those really long cooldowns. You have those windows of opportunity. And your main goal there, if you want to carry, is you're looking for skirmishes with numbers advantages, looking to take advantage of low health targets, because you need to get yourself ahead. If you're behind and you get CC'd, you're done for. You need to farm very efficiently, you need to focus on neutral objectives, you have a split push opportunity as well. But most importantly, if you want to carry as a non-CC jungler, as a Master Yi, you need a Taric. I'm just kidding. You need to understand how to team fight. You need to understand the enemy's team composition, you need to understand your team's composition, you need to know when to go in and out of a fight. With Yi, it's a little bit more, I'm going in. With Kha'Zix, it's a case of understanding when you can jump in to pick people off. Don't just dive into 5 people and go, well, you know, I lost, I'm Kha'Zix. And I see that quite a bit about Evelynn as well. I get really fed and then I just die in team fights. Well, you're not meant to be going in first, and you're meant to be going in to clean up or to get your burst damage off at a critical moment. Or maybe making a pick beforehand so that the next team fight is a 4v5. When you don't have CC, or when you are a assassin or burst champion, understanding team fight and skirmish mechanics is the most important thing for you. If you do not understand how to navigate an enemy team CC, and you just blindly go in all the time, you're never going to be able to carry. I mean, you could probably split push to success, but you need to know, okay, that CC's down, now I can go in. Shyvana is an engaged champ. You don't have CC, but you're looking to, if you see them grouped up as 4, if you're ahead, if you could engage, do it. You just need to know if you need to peel or something. It's really unique to each champion, isn't it? But hopefully that gives you an idea. It's really a broad, vague answer. I can't really give you more than that unless we're looking at like a specific game. But Kha'Zix is the best example there, just purely because you need to know when to pick your moments. Shyvana's a dive champion. You just go in. You're a big dragon, you're tanky, swoop them up, set them up for your team. So she's more important about knowing about your own team comp. Yi is more knowing, Yi and Kha'Zix are so more knowing about the enemy team comp. I'm sure there's some mains that'll disagree or whatever, but that's just as general as I can make it at this point. So is it possible to climb out of bronze using a champion that's effective in high elo such as Kindred? Yes. Yes. But you need to know the champion very well. You need to be mechanically able to maximize their strengths such that you can carry. And you also need to be able to take objectives and towers and dragons and such things solo. I think that's important. That's why I don't really recommend Eve, because great, you cleaned up the fight, but you can't take towers to save your life. And it also depends what the enemy is choosing. You need something that can hyper carry, that isn't going to be a liability. For example, if the enemy picks Xin, even if it's low elo and you pick Kindred, you're going to have a rough time as soon as you run into them. You're not going to be able to kill them solo, even if they have no brains, okay? Because it's Xin. That's the problem with something like Kindred. You need something that is mobile, has burst, can clean up fights, can engage fights. That's why I usually like Blue Cane, if you're able to use it effectively. So, yes you can, but there are the reason we suggest other champions is just so you can learn how to jungle, learn the game, without worrying about the micro mechanics of your champion. You know, Warwick's great because you don't need to think too much. There are some advanced mechanics that we can employ the more skilled you become, but he's nice because he can get around the map quickly, he has get engaged, tankiness, ability to take dragons, towers, and you don't have to worry about that. Any jungler you run into 1v1, you know you can win the battle, and these things are important. If you play something more scaly, high mechanical, and you don't have the fast enough fingers or reactions to maximize their kit, like Elise. A lot of people in low elo want to play Elise, and Elise isn't even good at the moment anyway. But she has 6 abilities. If you don't know how to use the full rotation to grab a kill, and to move around the map and take advantage of that, there's no point in playing her. You know, you might as well play something that's easier that lets you win and get out. Once you get out, once you get to an elo you're happy with, where you're really improving, then you can break out a champion you're passionate about and sort of focus on learning them without the worry of your team being totally incompetent. Alright, next question. If you could be any champion in real life, who would you be? Do you take inspiration from someone who? And will you forget me when you reach 100k? I have no idea if we're ever going to reach 100k. It'd be pretty cool. But I don't know if we're going to get there anytime soon. Champion in real life. I don't know, man. That's a difficult question. There's a lot of champions I like. Ornn just because he's beardy and grumpy and likes to be alone. Cool hammer. Pretty big. Demigod. Can move the lands. That's right. He likes to drink dark beer. I don't even like dark beer. No, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not good at those kind of questions. Who do you take inspiration from? No one really. I mean, I don't really watch that much. I have never really watched that many League YouTubers, to be honest. Back in the day, sure. Now, I watch some of the people I support and we work together on YouTube, but I basically just wanted to teach the things that I knew to the people who could use that information. Never aspired for this to be something that gets you to challenge them, because I can't even get there. I mean, what do I know? It was just some things, the basics, things people might be missing that lets them get over the edge. I used to love watching Dandy in Season 4 as a jungler because of his pathing, and I mained Rengar heavily back then, and he loved Rengar, so it was... You learn a lot from that kind of stuff. When I first started Meteos, someone I watched a lot, that's why I actually still have a farming problem. Because when I was learning to play, I watched Meteos, and he farmed a lot. Remember the Nocturne game? We just kind of AFK farmed and then split push. Seriously the best YouTuber? Well, aren't you sweet? It was a blessing to find you after my other favorite YouTuber switched to Fortnite. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. I come from the original days. You know, I had a 8800 GTX. Not the Ultra, I couldn't afford it at the time. You know, and I played Crisis. I'm not gonna play Fortnite. Kidding me? Minecraft. Minecraft PUBG. No offense taken, please stay subbed. This is kind of a joke question, but why is your content so clean? The format looks amazing in all your videos. Keep it up. Thank you very much. It's just because I've always been a bit nitpicky and perfectionist, and even if something's not perfect objectively or the design isn't the best objectively, I like to be as clean as I want it and need it to be for my mind to let me upload it. That's why I don't upload as often as I could, because I sort of want to make it perfect for YouTube, and I'm realizing sometimes I should just say, I'm uploading it. I need to stop. But that's difficult to switch off on my brain. So I'm glad you do like the videos. Even this one, I made an animated background. Look at the particles go. So, the main reason is also, I'm sick and tired of seeing clickbait. League YouTubers and clickbait. Okay, look, there's good advertising protocol for titles and slogans that get you roped into a product, that get you to come see the movie or whatever, and then there's just blatant lies and fiction, or just something that's just ridiculous. You know, I get, you know, like this amazing, insane comeback, and you've got like 30% kill participation, you weren't even a reason for the comeback. You know, and some of the league stuff just becomes absolutely ridiculous. People are obviously just going for clicks, and people keep clicking it. And I don't know why, and sometimes I do as well, just because I'm like, hey, wait a second, that seems suspicious. So I click it, and then, oh right, it's total BS. I wanted to put a mark, my own mark, on the content of League, saying, hey, we can teach something and we can put in quality and we can be successful. And to a certain degree that's true, but I know if I really wanted to sort of spike the views up, I would take a photo of me doing this. And I stole how many Barons? You know, and I stole one. Then it was because the jungler was dead. You know, I think we need to get away from this. And what we need is, when I made montages was, the reason why the Aurelion Sol and Zyra montages I enjoyed making so much, because I like to put like a little silly story, not a silly story, but I like to put a little bit of a story in there. Even if people didn't really get it, those that did would say, oh, okay, I see the cutscenes tell a story throughout the montage, and the gameplay is sort of adding to that in some capacity. But those took so damn long to make, and I had to go through all the footage I ever had, and then I had to go find other people's footage for the Aurelion Sol, because I cannot play that champion whatsoever. But I love him. Space Dragon. Study space. It's perfect. And what I think we need from League is more creative stuff. Not just yelling and memes. Not just funny cuts and good editing. which is nice. Good editing is always a reward. Honestly, when people compliment my editing, I'm like, thank you, but there are so many other great YouTubers that they're editing. It's just the topic of our content has become a bit stale. And through these tutorials, I wanted to create something that was clean looking, enjoyable, and had a little bit of a different spin in it. So I felt like I owe it to you guys who subbed and to myself to continue that as much as possible. How did you become so good at jungle? Is it purely practice? Also love your vids, thank you. I'm relatively good at jungle. I'm gonna make a video about this because it irritates me no end when people go on the subreddit and say, hey, I got gold, I'm really happy. And people are like, you know, that you're not bad now, but you could really do better. And when we compare ourselves to the pros and the best players in this, we're trash, we're useless, you know, and when you acknowledge that you're way worse than them, then you can improve. That's the wrong way of thinking. If you coached my team, I wouldn't listen to you. You don't coach under 14s and say, hey, listen, like, compare yourself to LeBron James. You're trash, you're useless, you suck. Why do you even play basketball if you can't be as good as LeBron James? Like, we all have capacities, we all have limits. What we can achieve given our time, our mindset, our mechanical ability. But for me, how I got as good as I am, which is, I think, the limit for me, given how much time I can play and my mental attitude when I do play, is, yes, practice. Practice, watching streams, watching pro players, and usually when I watch pro players, when I watch streams, it's with a specific question in mind. And it's the same thing when you're learning anything. Math, League, English. When you want to learn something, when you're reading a book, when you are doing a mathematical question, what is the goal of you doing that exercise, right? You know, students, you don't always ask yourself that. You just do what the teacher tells you. University, high school. But when I watch a VOD, my goal is, so for example, my common thing is, when do I turn back to take my own camps after a sequence of events and I'm short goal? Like that now if I don't go back with my team, then my team's gonna be out in the field and I'm gonna be 20, 30 seconds behind them, right? So how do I offset that, and when's the most opportune time to do that? So these are little questions I might go into a game and watch a replay. I'll go view a pro player or a high elo streamer's game, and I'll go and watching that VOD with that question, right? And I'll answer the question by looking at their VOD or their replays, and I then will assimilate that into my own game when the situation arises. So if something happens and you say, "Oh, what should I have done in that situation?" Develop a question around it, and when you watch someone else play that champion or just that role, see what they do in that same situation. You can answer it and apply that to your own game, and that's how you improve, right? It's through acknowledging your own mistakes, formulating a question of why those mistakes happen, and finding an answer for it, whether it's through experience, through streaming, or through watching pro player VODs. And I'd say for me that was all three of those. Who is your favorite champion to play, and what champion and champion type do you use to climb? Oof, well, okay, my favorite champions in the last, I'd say, year have been Warwick, Maokai, Ornn, then Evelynn. And Zyra always. Zyra's always there every season, no matter what. In total, I think what I'll do is I'll just put a list of all my highest mastery champions. I enjoy all those champions, and you'll notice not a lot of them are actually specific junglers. And that's because I like to play things that are a little bit different, and I don't pick a champion to climb to say, right, I want a hard climb. And if I wanted to do that, I would pick the meta. But if you're asking, so when I want to win, what I pick, I would go with Evelynn at the moment. If I'm saying, right, I definitely want to win a few games, I'm just going to go with Evelynn. If the enemy team comes horrible, I will go Ornn. He's probably one of my favorite champions ever. And I like playing him jungle, and he's still viable. He just loses to 1v1 matchups too much, and if you get creamed, you have no counterplay to it. But I'm comfortable enough with it that I would use it. Or I would go Zyra support, to be honest with you. And finally, yes, you go meta. Play Xin, play Graves. Those are your best bets. Or Trundle. Never doubt the troll. And the final question is, when will you stream on YouTube, Twitch? I might stream Clash. I might. If I can get a team. I have no friends. So, we'll see. I have some YouTube connections, streamer friends. We might have a team. And then if you want me to stream it, put it down below. Main thing is I don't play very well when I'm live on camera. I used to stream, I think, over a year ago a little bit. Nothing really happened. I would like to stream a jungle talk show. I think that's something I would like to do. I'd like to stream some games here and there, sort of just chill, nothing try hard. I'm kind of exhausted from trying in my limited off time as well as making videos, so I'm more having fun with myself. Once summer begins, 3 weeks of school left, it's something I'm more likely to do. If I didn't get to your question, you have additional questions, please let me know, put it in the chat below, and I'll get to them in the comment section. Please subscribe for more jungle videos. Let me know if you'd like more talking head things about different questions on League, metas and states of content, I don't know, whatever you like. And thank you very much for watching. Thank you for the support so far. Here's to 50k soon, in a year. And please subscribe for more jungle videos coming soon. As always, I will see you all in the next tutorial. That's really strange when I look at my face while I say that. Okay, bye.